Welcome to Life's a Coach. Our mission is to empower individuals like you to take charge of your life, discover your purpose, and elevate your performance to new heights. Each week, we'll be diving into engaging discussions, introducing you to valuable tools from the coaching world, and giving you different perspectives on individual development. Whether you're seeking clarity, motivation, or a fresh perspective, we've got you covered. Again, welcome to Life's a Coach, where the power to transform your life begins now.
So, hi everyone. So today we are left by the guys. So me and Almar are here doing this together. So welcome to Life's a Coach. How are you feeling today, Almar?
Great, Sofia. Thank you. It's just the girls today, huh?
Yeah, just the girls today. And we are talking about a topic today that I think that also resonates a lot for our women listeners out there. Because at least in some of the studies that I'm seeing, and I will go back to the topic in a minute, but it's much more easier for women to go and want to find more about these topics and want to understand more about this than what I see men. So the topic for today is around burnout. So we are sharing a personal story, and then we will also talk a little bit of coaching people that experience burnout. But Almar, I would like to hear from you, your thoughts, because I have a little bit of this thought that it goes mostly to women to want to understand it, probably to suffer with it. What do you think?
So you think that only women experience burnout?
No. I think that everybody experiences burnout, but it's a little bit more on the studies. Probably more women relate with it and mention to have experienced before.
Would this be probably because of, I'm not mind reading, but of all the roles that the added roles that we have in our lives as being caretakers, and also, having our job, our careers, and I can see how having to juggle. I suppose women do have a lot more to juggle, huh? Not all women, but yeah, that is true. What are my thoughts? Yeah, sure. I've experienced burnout. Now that I start to think about it, like, what is burnout? What is burnout?
What is burnout?
Yeah, it's an interesting term. It's enduring for so long without taking a break and feeling like you can't run another mile? Is that burnout? Not having enough energy to cross the finish line?
And is it also a little bit of how are you taking care of yourself? I also see it like this, like burnout is, so it's mostly related with symptoms. Now I'm doing what Eric normally does. Let's go to the science behind it to try to give a clear understanding. But it's related with emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion that can be related with frequently stress related with work. Maybe I didn't say it because I'm looking into Portuguese meaning of it. I didn't say it correctly in English, but it's most commonly related with professions that need to handle a lot of pressure and responsibility, like teachers, healthcare people, and also with environments that are competitive and that demand that people maintain a lot of control under their tasks and the things that they are doing.
I think, how do we recognize that we are teetering on the edge of burnout? Because I suppose once you burn out, that's it, right? You want to be able to to get it, to get a handle of it, to recognize it before it happens. But I think a lot of us don't even realize that it's happening, that we're on that road to burnout. And then I guess what happens when you do reach burnout?
So maybe I share my personal story with this, because I think it helps a little bit on what you're mentioning, that it's, do you have self-awareness? And we were talking about the self-awareness part when we were backstage. So I think I've experienced a lot of episodes throughout my life. I'm very perfectionist with my work, and I dedicate a lot when I'm working. If I don't have a good ability to say no, I'm normally overwhelmed with a lot of tasks, and I want to complete them all. So this is my normal way of working. I'm like that, and it makes me feel good, because it's the feeling of accomplishment each time that, okay, this is done, this is done, this is done. Okay, but I have more. Okay, this is done. So this is normally how I engage myself at work. And in the past, and I wasn't aware. So this was like 20, no, not 20, but 18 years ago or 16 years ago. I don't know. I was very young. It was during an internship. I collapsed in my living room one night. At that time, I didn't know that it was burnout, because the term now is very well known in society, but back then it wasn't. So I thought it was something related with health. But the thing is that exhausting yourself with work will affect your health. And the physical consequence of it was me passing out in my living room. Then going to the doctor and don't having anything to say, like, of course, nothing is wrong. You don't have nothing wrong in your, how do you say it? With iron or magnesium or whatever. The doctors cannot relate with anything. Years later, when starting to understand burnout, starting to understand what it means and how can it reflect, my mind gone back in time, and then I started, oh, that's what happened. So it was internship. I wanted to prove a lot. And I used to work from 8 a.m. in the morning till 11 at night. And we didn't have remote at that time. So it was staying at the office all these hours. And you start to understand in society when this happens. And as you were saying, Almar, I think with all these roles women play at home, also family, either it's being a mother or taking care of your parents or even taking care of sisters or community. It's much more common to see women jump into these kinds of roles than men, even if it's community, even if it's your friend. And we want to be there for everybody, for your work, for your friends, for your family, for your partner. And there's that part when you stop and think, and are you there for yourself? Because I think I don't know if I'm talking a lot with it, but please stop me. When you say how you prevent it, is really on how do you take care of yourself each day so that you can also take a moment to rest and breathe.
I see. Oh, that makes a lot of sense to me now. Thank you for explaining it, Sofia. So what you're saying is we need to be more aware of our needs as an individual. What is it that keeps us balanced and nourished and feeling whole, and to not neglect those specific things that each individual, we're all different, that we all need. Because I suppose, as you know, that saying, you got to put the mask on you first before somebody else, right? Before you can take care of anybody else. And so we cut burnout at the pass by always being always, not always, but aware and taking care of ourselves, making sure I'll use the metaphor of running a race, making sure that we're well hydrated and nourished to run that race every day to prevent unnecessary collapse before you finish. That's what I hear you saying. Yeah. And so for everybody, it's different, right? I'm sure people are coming, if anyone's thinking that they can relate, you're probably also wondering, well, what can I do? So, okay, burnout is real. I experience it. I have experienced it. Sofia, you have a classic story, almost an extreme story of burnout. I mean, collapsing it's a big deal. What can you do? So we turn around and now I ask you, what did you do with all of this hindsight and realization of what happened and what you need to do moving forward? Maybe you have some specific tips that you can share with our listeners.
Yeah, I think, as you said it, Almar, everyone experience is different. So maybe what I will share can be useful for someone, and maybe someone else needs another thing. But what I think it's important is that you know what works better for you to get that part of how do I relax? What it's good for me to unwind and to take a little bit time of a break. One of the things that always comes to my mind is that, and I was just checking this morning on Instagram. So I follow this page on productivity. It's a coach. And she's specialized in burnout, in fact. And she was saying, like, I started my vacation like some days ago, and the first thing I asked my husband was, what are we going to do? And he said, we are not going to do anything. We are here to not do and just be. And I love this because what is the time that you take for yourself just to be? I can talk particularly. For me, it's very difficult just to stay still because my mind starts thinking, you're wasting time. Why aren't you doing anything? And this is a little bit of my survival mode. I only think that time is worth it when I'm doing and accomplishing things. So I need to fight with myself on, okay, if I need to do something, if my mind is always rushing on this, okay, but let me do something that helps me. I wouldn't say fulfill, but that helps me take care of myself. So as I was telling you, Almar, I go to a dance class. Or even in the past, one of the things that started during COVID was I went for a run because it helps my head to release some things. So normally for me, if I'm working too much or if I'm feeling that, okay, I need to stop and do a break, I do something physical. That will help me. I think that some people will relate more with yoga or things like that. But and it's interesting to also say this now, on the times that I'm relaxed and I really have some time, I try to meditate. I don't try, I go and meditate because this also helps my mind to go at ease and helps me understand how my body is feeling. If I have some place specific in my body that's uncomfortable, hurting. So, of course, this was a long journey for me, a lot of working with myself, self-development, and we are always talking here how important it is to be self-aware. So what works for you that will help you take care of yourself? I would say that it's the question to ask.
Thank you, Sofia, for sharing that.
Oh,
Yeah, I can relate very much with your methods of de-stressing and reconnecting. I think, yeah.
On your side, Almar, I was also curious to hear what do you see, like having a completely different not concept, but you're self-employed So it's a little bit different. How do you see it affecting also self-employed people?
Mm. Well, I have more experience being employed and experiencing burnout. And
Okay.
so actually, yeah, that's really interesting. So when I was employed, um, I worked 7 days a week, but I loved it. I got to the point where I didn't know how to have fun anymore. Like, I knew that, oh, I should go and have fun, but I didn't know what that looked like.
Mhm.
Um, and then I started scheduling um, a little bit of fun disguised as work. That worked out for me. Um, but I loved to work and I did it a lot and I probably did it too much because then I, like you, the proverbial collapse is what happened. So now I am, we'll call it self-employed. And, but I come with all the lessons of being employed and not wanting that collapse and not wanting to repeat that story. So I'm a little bit more in control, a lot more. I'm in complete control, actually, as we all are of ourselves, right? But I have history to base my present actions on, and they're based on incorporating more balance into my life, um, more, yeah, I have more control over my career because now, because I call the shots.
Hmm.
So that I think that is the difference. And not everybody can do that when you are employed and you're working with a team or somebody else. Um, you're working with you have to work towards that goal. Your paycheck is dependent upon it. And then as self-employed, you deal with other stresses, like not having a paycheck. um,
Mhm. Mhm.
and not having some accountability and not uh, not being sure if about tomorrow, which maybe it also happens when you are employed.
Mhm.
So there's different stresses, but I think we all live by our values, right? And so my values have evolved today to require more freedom and more balance and health. And so I am the CEO of me now. And so I can decide to implement taking I'm wearing this smartwatch that tells me to get up and move every, like 30 minutes. And so I can get up and go for a walk outside and get some fresh air and try to get balanced or take a nap. Um, and do little things that I know that I need to keep me feeling healthy and happy. But it's not all the time. Of course, there is stress. And like
Mhm.
you, I like stress. I said that out loud. I like the adrenaline. I like the pressure. And maybe it's because I lived it for, so many years, that it's a friend to me. But I also like feeling good. And I also don't want to repeat the bad story of collapsing in my way. I don't know. That was a very long,
It was
it's a long
incredible.
answer.
And I loved when you said I like stress because don't we all? And stress is something that is needed in our life. I think I read somewhere or heard someone said if it wasn't for stress, we would all be killed because stress is something that also keeps us alive. Um, but it's to where you go with your stress because stress can be healthy and can be very
Right. Yeah.
unhealthy.
To
Yeah,
what
right.
extent, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
And here, while I was hearing you, I was thinking that there's that big role of self-awareness because you learned your lessons in the past, and I relate a lot with that. But then it's what you said also in the end. it's not always perfect. It's like, no, I never burn out, or no, I never have this kind of thoughts to where I'm going next. You were saying you run after your paycheck when you're self-employed, so maybe this also brings some anxiety. What is it going to be? Well, how is it going to be next week, next month, if things are not working out in a specific area or of your business? But it's also being self-aware that, yeah, but I have the tools, I have ways of doing things, making things work, and taking care of yourself. It's one big deal on that one too.
Seems like a luxury these days, huh? To be able to take care of yourself like that.
Interesting. Tell me more.
Yeah, it could be, oh, it's so easy for you to say, Almar. No one's, looking at their watch when you get up to go take that move break or that nap, or, we live in a culture where it's hard work. You have to work hard, don't take your breaks. Your time is being paid by somebody else, so they are watching every second of it and making sure that it's working for them. It's easy. I have a family. I have to get home. I have a 2-hour commute from work to home every day. And then I have to cook. And then the kids have homework. And then, my partner needs this. And where's the time? Where's the time?
Interesting. I love to hear on your side, Almar. If someone comes to you and says all that, like you being a coach, what would you say? Where would you start? Like, I have all this to do. Like, I have my kids at home. I have to do dinner, as you're saying, but I work from 9 to 6. And from 9 to 6, I cannot stop. I only have 30-minute lunch, if I have it. And it's in front of my computer. So, because I'm telling you this, because this is a lot of what I hear people saying. So, where would you start?
Well, usually then it ends up with, I have no energy, right? It drains me. So maybe I would ask, well, what gives you energy? Can you do more of that? Where do you find pleasure? Where do you find pleasure in your life?
Totally. And if the person says, but I don't have time for the things that give me energy. I'm playing a little bit here because,
I don't believe anybody doesn't have time. We have priorities. We decide what gets our attention and our time. That's just really the truth. Oh, but my job, but you chose to be in that job. Oh, but my family, but you choose to be that way with your family. Oh, but my husband, but you chose that way with your husband. And there is always a positive intent, is what we say in NLP. There's always a positive intent with every behavior, whether it be considered a positive or negative one. And so you are getting something positive from this complaint that you have. We have to find out what it is.
Like it's like with all these behaviors, you are getting a recognition or something. It's your feeling.
Everybody is different, but you are getting something from it. What is it?
So that's why you keep on behaving it like that. Right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and there's an addiction too. You can become addicted to this behavior. That's absolutely. But if you can become addicted to that behavior, you can also detach from it, have it.
Yeah, thank you for that, Almar, because it's definitely what you're saying. For example, in my case, what I see is I take validation from every task that I complete in work, from every project I release, from every situation that this is done. So it's a little bit of validation and self-fulfillment. But then going back to what can happen if I only do work, and I don't take care of myself, it's like physically can go up to collapsing, as I shared, but even emotionally, I don't have time for my family, for my friends, because I don't have the energy. And then
Decide. You
and then
decide.
you decide, definitely. Yes, because I also can feel recognition, validation when I'm with my friends and family. So it's a little bit of how you were saying, you get to choose where you want to spend your time with. Of course, there are people that are going to still choose to be a lot of time at work and rushing into all those other things. It's saying that they don't have time, but as you were saying, you choose because everyone has 24 hours in a day. There's
It is an
there's
illusion that you think that
yeah,
you have no choice. It's an idea that you've imposed on yourself because everybody has a choice. But what do you
and
gain from it? What are the benefits that you are getting from feeling this way? And when you figure it out, if you're going to focus all of this energy into feeling negatively, positively about this, oh, my life, you have the ability to think of all the positive. So what does it get you? This positive intent. Maybe instead of focusing on the negative narrative, let's focus on the positive intent. Instead of, oh God, I have to drive, 2 hours every day in traffic. Ugh, my life is, I don't have time. But what do you get from that? Oh, I get to be alone for 2 hours.
mhm,
I
mhm.
get to listen to my favorite podcast. I get to just feel free for 2 hours.
Yeah, definitely. And even for 2 hours, I get to connect with people if I want to. I can make some calls during those 2 hours with people that I normally don't get time with because life is so busy, right?
Maybe on Saturdays, you spend time with your children and you teach them, granted, of course, if they're infants and still in the single digit years, I understand the challenge, however, just an idea. You teach them to do some food prep. Let's wash the vegetables. Let's learn how to wash the vegetables. Or let's
Mm-hmm.
learn how to help you out so that when you come home, things are prepared. Or maybe even on Sunday, it is a family event because you're getting to spend time with your family and you're prepping for the whole week. So that when you do come home after two hours, things are ready to go. Takes a little bit of extra time, but you're killing two birds with one stone. You're spending time with the family, they're learning and helping and reducing any potential perceived stress that you might have. I'm just saying that there's a choice with
Plenty of
everything,
options.
plenty, but we are so myopic and we think that, oh, woe is me. This is my fate. No, everybody is in complete control of their life. It's scary sometimes to make that, first, the realization to know that you are in complete control. That's scary because it means you are where you are because you chose to be. Let that sink in for a little bit.
I like this. I like where we went with the topic. Although talking about burnout in the beginning, I think that we went to all this part of how self-aware are we and how can we take care of ourselves, and this to prevent that you go to the limits of exhaustion or negativity or victimizing yourself with the life that you have. Because as you said, Almar, and so brilliantly, we have choices and we can be in control if we choose to.
Yeah, how do you negate burnout?
Definitely.
That you have the choice to burn out or not.
For sure. Okay, great. This was a great one. Wrapping up, Almar, last
All
thoughts.
right. No, I think I've expressed a lot already. Yeah, I don't know. I hope
Yeah, but go
I hope
ahead,
our
go ahead.
audience, I hope our listeners got something valuable from today. If there's any one thing that I just want to reiterate is that you have the choice. We all do.
For sure. Yeah, thank you for that, Almar. Definitely. And I really love when you said that there's options to do things differently. And I don't like to use the word victimizing or that people are victims. People are the result of the choices that they make with their life. So it's all about choosing what you want best to yourself and to your self-care, for sure. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Almar, for your brilliant insights. And leave us some questions. Share your stories with us and how did this episode help you if you have experienced burnout before, or if you have some friend, family member that you also want to share this podcast with. Feel free to share it. You will see it, the sharing button.
And give us some more ideas of other really creative ways to take care of ourselves. We're all in this together.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To see you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Life's a Coach, where our conversations aim to empower and support your personal growth. Until next time, remember that personal development is ongoing, so keep exploring, keep learning, and keep living a life that aligns with your true purpose. Take care, and we'll see you on the next episode of Life's a Coach.